Chapter 1. What shapes true leadership qualities? We've already established that leadership is a set of specific skills that can be developed in any child. But what exactly does this leadership consist of? What qualities distinguish a young leader, and why is each of them crucial? In this chapter, we'll break down these components, explore the role of genetics and environment, and demonstrate how these elements interact to create a well-rounded personality. Imagine a mosaic where each piece is a distinct character trait. Only when all the parts are assembled do we see a complete and harmonious picture, the portrait of a leader. Ignoring even one element can disrupt the entire composition. Let's look at the main components of this mosaic. 1. Self-confidence. This isn't arrogance or haughtiness. It's a deep inner knowledge of one's abilities and self-worth. A confident child isn't afraid to voice their opinion, even if it differs from the majority. They are willing to try new things without fear of failure because they perceive setbacks as stepping stones on the path to growth. How it manifests in children. A child who calmly approaches a stranger their age and asks to play. A preschooler who isn't shy about asking questions. A student who confidently delivers a presentation, even if nervous. Confidence is the foundation upon which all other leadership qualities are built. Without it, it's difficult to show initiative, make decisions, or assert one's viewpoint. 2. Decisiveness. This is the ability to make decisions and act, rather than endlessly hesitating or waiting for instructions. A decisive child can quickly assess a situation and choose the best course of action, even without a 100% guarantee of success. They are not afraid to take responsibility for their choices. How it manifests in children. A child who independently chooses which club they want to join. A teenager who takes charge of organizing a school event. A toddler who decides which toy they want to play with. Decisiveness is closely linked to initiative and responsibility. Leaders cannot be passive observers. They must be ready to act. 3. Empathy. This is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. A leader with developed empathy doesn't just listen. They truly hear what others are saying and feel what they are experiencing. This allows them to build deep, trusting relationships, resolve conflicts, and lead by understanding their team's motives and needs. How it manifests in children. A child who comforts a friend when they are upset, a teenager who stands up for someone weaker, a student who offers help to a struggling classmate. Without empathy, leadership turns into a dictatorship. A true leader inspires people rather than coercing them. Understanding others is key to influence and successful interaction. 4th, responsibility. This is the readiness to answer for one's words, actions, and their consequences. A responsible child understands that their actions matter and affect those around them. They keep their promises, admit their mistakes, and are willing to correct them. How it manifests in children. A child who puts away their toys after playing, a student who completes homework on time, a teenager who fulfills commitments in a school project. Responsibility is the foundation of trust. No one will follow someone they cannot trust. A leader must be an example of reliability. 5th, teamwork skills. The modern world requires the ability to collaborate, listen to others, delegate roles, compromise, and support a common goal. This doesn't mean always being the captain. It means being an effective and valuable team member who knows both how to lead and how to follow. How it manifests in children. Children who agree on rules in a game. Teenagers who work together on a project, distributing tasks. Members of a sports team who support each other. Even the most outstanding individuals need support and cooperation. The ability to work in a team multiplies efforts and achieves more significant results. The interconnectedness of qualities. It's important to understand that these qualities don't exist in isolation. They are intricately intertwined and reinforce each other. For example, confidence allows for decisiveness. Empathy helps build a team, and responsibility strengthens trust within that team. Ignoring even one quality weakens the entire system. For instance, a decisive but irresponsible child might make quick but ill-conceived decisions. A confident yet empathetic deficient person risks becoming a dictator rather than an inspirer. Therefore, our task as parents is to develop this complex set of qualities harmoniously. For many decades, scientists debated, are leaders born or made? Today, thanks to advances in genetics, neurobiology, and psychology, we have a much clearer understanding. The answer is simple: both. Leadership is not a fatal predisposition embedded in DNA, nor is it a blank slate on which anything can be written. It's a complex combination of genetic predisposition and environmental influence. Genetics and temperament. Yes, there are certain temperament traits that can facilitate the manifestation of leadership qualities. For example, children with a more active, extroverted temperament may be quicker to take initiative in games, while calmer, more analytical children may be better at strategizing. Twin studies showed that some portion of the differences in leadership abilities, by various estimates, about 25 to 35%, can indeed be attributed to genetics. But this is merely a predisposition, not a sentence. Example: a child might be genetically predisposed to be tall, but if poorly nourished, they won't reach their full potential. The same applies to leadership. Environment and learning. This is where the main potential for parents lies. The remaining 65 to 75% of leadership qualities are shaped by experience, learning, upbringing, and the surrounding environment. This means that even if your child wasn't born a leader in the classical sense, you can purposefully develop all the necessary skills in them. Neuroplasticity. Our brain has an amazing property: neuroplasticity. This means it can change and create new neural connections throughout life under the influence of experience and learning. Every time a child tries something new, overcomes fear, solves a problem, or learns to communicate, new connections form in their brain, strengthening those very leadership qualities. Purposeful development. This is your primary task as parents. We cannot change genetics, but we can create an environment that will maximize the development of leadership potential. Conclusion: the idea that leaders are born is outdated. Modern science unequivocally states leadership can be learned. And the earlier we begin to purposefully develop these qualities, the easier and more naturally they will integrate into a child's life, becoming an integral part of who they are. The role of environment: how family, school, and friends shape a leader. A child's development occurs through constant interaction with the surrounding world. Family, school, and friends are the three main pillars that largely determine whether a child will develop their leadership potential. Family, the first cradle of leadership. The family is the first and most influential school of leadership. A democratic parenting style where a child is given choices within reasonable limits, encouraged in their initiative, listened to, and given reasons for rules, fosters the development of confidence, responsibility, and independence. Authoritarian or permissive styles, conversely, can suppress these qualities. Parental example: children learn not from what we say, but from what we do. If parents themselves demonstrate responsibility, decisiveness, empathy, know how to resolve conflicts, and aren't afraid to admit their mistakes, the child unconsciously adopts these behaviors. Home atmosphere: a supportive, safe environment where a child is valued, allowed to make mistakes and learn from them, and where open communication is encouraged, promotes the unfolding of potential. Criticism, fear of punishment, and a lack of praise, conversely, stifle initiative and confidence. Providing choices and responsibility. Even simple things like choosing clothes, helping with chores, or deciding where to go for a walk give a child a sense of control and train them in decision-making. School, a space for growth and expression. Pedagogical approach. School plays a huge role. Teachers who encourage activity, project-based learning, debates, and group work create ideal conditions for leadership development. The emphasis should be not only on grades but also on independent thinking and the ability to articulate one's viewpoint. Extracurricular activities. Participation in student government, drama clubs, sports teams, or science Olympiads all give a child the opportunity to express themselves, take on a role, learn to work in a team, and lead others. Peer interaction. The school environment is a kind of mini-society where children learn to interact with each other, resolve conflicts, and find their place in a group. This is a crucial training ground for developing communication skills and empathy. Friends and peers. Friends have a colossal influence on personality formation. If a child interacts with proactive, positive, and responsible peers, they will adopt those behavioral models. Conversely, if their environment is passive or destructive, it can hinder the development of leadership qualities. Skill practice. It's in games and informal interactions with friends that a child practices their leadership skills, learning to negotiate, persuade, lead in play, show empathy, yield when necessary, and assert their boundaries. Conclusion. Environment is paramount in shaping a leadership personality. Understanding this dynamic gives parents enormous leverage. We can not only set an example at home, but also consciously choose schools, clubs, and even help a child form a social circle that will stimulate their growth. Now that we understand the elements of leadership and how genetics and environment influence it, we can move on to the most exciting part: practice. Knowing what to develop allows us to move to the question of how to do it. In the following chapters, we'll delve into different types of leadership so you can better understand your child's inclinations, and then move on to concrete, step-by-step instructions and exercises that will help you put this theory into practice. Remember, every child is unique, and the path to leadership will be different for each. But the general principles and proven tools we'll explore next will be your reliable guide.